They don't want Coco first picking that champion either. Thresh removed from the pool, so they may be trying to first pick, I don't know, maybe the Lee Sin here.
NaJin, especially when they have save doing the bans, has gone off their standard and not banned Italy yet.
And Shyvana's going to have to be banned here. Unless they want Flame to have it, which I think is a big mistake, because when Save and Flame have played against each other, that has been the first pick.
There we go, Shyvana banned out. Italy left open. I wonder if this is NaJin's do or die way of dealing with this. If they don't pick Yasuo, we have that last pick. Let's go with the Nidalee. We've made it work in these drawn-out games.
Of course, Goong very famous for his Nidalee play and his ability to land extremely clutch spears. So that's definitely going to be on Blaze's mind. And yeah, I do think that having that last pick and the Nidalee in your pocket is going to be very helpful in terms of dictating what CJ does during this pick and ban phase. So they're talking over it now. Do you take the Lee Sin first?
I mean, I say you do. Hojin, well, he's great. He's just shown so much more peace of mind and plays and decision-making with that Lee Sin. Now, of course, in the first game he played today, he had some nice plays as Evelyn against Daydream's Lee Sin. But Daydream, he seems to be telling his team, I'm confident, this is what we need to do. Obviously, Daydream, a very good Lee Sin player himself.
And the follow-up could be an early Lulu pickup, although you can always switch that over to support if necessary. Still a very strong support champion. Just rarely seen in that role, and actually that would be quite interesting, but Nami has been a priority tonight.
Yeah, and this would just shout, taking priority picks, Lulu and Nami away, and Coco has always shown to be a strong Lulu player, so you take out Cass and LeBlanc, then take out Lulu, that takes care of some of the more common strong picks.
And now Coco, in terms of his traditional champion pool, without the Caston, without the LeBlanc, and he's also an Italy player, but he will get pushed in early by that Lulu. And will they pick up the Kayle is the next question, because that's kind of Coco's other preferential pick, and there is the Kog'Maw, and they're going to peel for it with this Sona, it would appear. And Kayle would be a strong pick to round out this composition.
Yeah, we're already seeing that happen. I mean, with the Nami not there, then Sona was the next one. Of course, Soraka also banned out. OQ, I think every AD carry, when they get into this last game mindset, they're like, do I pull out the Vayne one last time? Do I fight for my life? But I'm not so sure if this... I mean, they do have Lulu and Nami. Again, it'd be kind of a similar situation as we see Kog'Maw there, and Twitch is banned out. So a good hyper carry and lots of peel protection going on here, but Lucian also very strong. Evelyn seems to be the next go-to for Hojin after Lee Sin is banned out, and also still just a strong jungler.
Kha'Zix is still up as well, so that is, they're saving that last pick for the top lane. They may be considering having that Kha'Zix come into play.
OQ is really torn.
I think you take the Lucian here.
I think you take the Lucian too. All right, gonna be the Lucian. All right.
And I think the Eve pick is smart, because you can get the flank on the Cog and force that crescendo to be used in an awkward fashion where you're not going to be able to hit everybody with it.
And look at this. Talk about Coco also being an Italy player. And with both Sona and Mundo, that's a lot of extra poke and disengage with Sona. And then, of course, Kog'Maw also just has long range with his Bioarcane Barrage. So this would be a very strong siege comp in and of itself.
Yeah, definitely all about the siege here. They lack very good primary engage besides a Lee Sin kick or a flash crescendo. So if they pick this, it would be a little bit difficult. That would make engaging easier.
You would still have the siege capabilities and disengage.
Better split pushing too. I think that Jax is a better choice.
And I think that also fits Flame better. We've seen him have a little bit of trouble with that Mundo on Monday. So mostly in terms of just he couldn't find the right timings. His teleports were not as choreographed because he spikes in his normal timing. So we are going to see that Jax, half aggressive, half tanky initiator type of deal. Now, what do we see for Save?
Are they going to try and pull out the Rise? Or are they going to play top lane Lulu with mid Yasuo?
That's the answer. All right, well, so cat's out of the bag. We do see Yasuo now in the pool for Goong also.
And this, that is actually deeply disturbing, because that was one of the things that Goong hasn't played.
Exactly.
So the fact that it could be a takeaway pick against blue is very interesting, and Save pulling out another new champion, top lane Lulu.
Yeah, and there is a lot of synergy once again for that Yasuo. You have that wild growth on Lulu, and then you have the bubble and the tidal wave on Nami, so this could be pretty scary. Oh, are they going to switch it up? Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Save plays that Yasuo top. They are going to play. There we go, the fans cheering for their teams. Could be the last time they show up in Yongsan for Masters 2014, so death match here. The single best of one to break any ties here in the playoffs. Save gonna be spotted by Daydream early, but not too big of a deal anywhere. Now, if that is any telegraph, Save seems to be sticking to that top lane.
Yeah, full ward start for Mad Life this game. Could be a bit risky. That it does make the Sona very, 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 very squishy.
Yes.
So it says Frost is really looking for this lane swap. There are the pings down. They will be putting down the ward deep in between the turrets as Save goes ahead and recalls. Now, it isn't the best. I mean, I think overall for Frost, it's good for them to lane swap here. As we discussed, they may have problems jungling, and they could be able to get Flame ahead early on. But the issue is during a lane swap situation, Goong is going to be able to put a ridiculous amount of pressure onto Nidalee in the mid lane.
And look at this, Save shows up in the mid, and we're seeing Goong take his time moving into lane. They saw those wards on Mad Life. He knows how this works.
Yep, they see him though.
They do see him. And how is CJ still just going to stick with that? We'll see.
Oh, he made sure they saw him, actually.
Yeah, actually, I think Goong just kind of taunted them a little bit. Of course, the wards, people have been getting very good with their ward positioning there to make sure that there's almost no possible way for people to escape. And a nice ward over the wall to spot that Flame was here, still just sapping that XP with Daydream.
Yeah, the thing is, Goong is getting denied really hard right now, and they're going to back off. And what are they going to do? They can't really gank the mid lane unless they dive it. And you can dive Nidalee with 3 men early, but they didn't do a jungle follow, so this Lulu is not going to be level 2. And that actually is a problem. Goong definitely should have followed early, and they should have dove like at 3 minutes onto Nidalee. That is the best strategy you can use in this circumstance with this Yasuo-Nidalee matchup. I've seen this play out many times before, but with the delay on the experience, they may not be able to pull it off as well as they could.
Yeah, so Goong finally just showing up to see what's up with this jungler. But Hojin has already cleared out both buffs, so yeah, Goong pretty far behind, but at least they get that mid lane matchup, try to keep Coco down. And regardless of how the lane plays out, just in the long run, those spears are going to be blocked by that wind wall. Daydream and Flame looking for a long wraparound gank here. Save needs to watch out now. He has flash, and of course he can dash through both champions, but Flame and Daydream still going to focus on jungling to make sure that Flame can get that experience. Now, how will OQ and Kane react to this? Uh-oh, Save. All right, just going to ward. And Daydream's going to put some damage down onto Save, but Save's okay with that. Actually, they're going to go for the dive on Counter-Strike, and then back off. Save taken down pretty low.
They were trying to force summoners right there, but Save stayed strong, wasn't too concerned about that. Goong will go ahead and cover in the mid lane for the moment, and looks like the jungle follow just going to continue right here. Coco doing a good job of zoning out the level 1 Goong. Not there, finally hits level 2 off that last creep.
Sure, that's the most he wanted from that lane, and bottom lane we saw a ping. Yeah, they're just going to try to fast push this tower down, and they're doing a really good job of it. They will take it the next wave. And CJ now reacting to that will decide to go with this 3-man push up here in top. Continue to get that experience for Flame. Now Save back in lane. He did lose quite a bit of experience from that one, but gonna just be able to dash here and there and put some pressure down onto Nidalee. Shouldn't be too big of an issue.
Yeah, Coco bought some time though, and it's really good. He did get a little bit of a CS advantage and a level advantage as well. So they continue to put down pressure onto Save.
Yeah, Save gets caught once again by Daydream, but still no summoners used. Save playing so patient to the last minute to make sure.
Wow, Save is really confident in his limits.
Yeah, well, you know, he's back in the mid lane. I think he's here to prove a point.
So Lulu is going to get some free farm in the top lane. The turret went down, but the pressure will be reversing, and they'll send Kog'Maw solo up there in order to deal with it. NaDlife on a roaming mission to keep Jax protected here in the bottom lane. They know their top laner has a bit of an advantage, not in terms of CS, but in terms of levels. Goong catching up, however, but he's not going to catch up for long.
Yeah, we will see Jax continue to get that, but it's all shoved up, so OQ right there in time to pick it up.
Really good timing for OQ.
Absolutely. Same with Emperor. So side lanes are kind of evening out. A lot of the action was in that mid lane as Daedrin tried to pressure this Yasuo. I mean, by this point, we've all seen what a pain it can be to play that middle lane against Yasuo, so relieving some pressure there, and that's allowed Coco to stay even in CS.
Indeed, well, Emperor just patiently farming under the turret. He does have some help there as NaDlife coming back up into that top lane. And just both AD carries freezing at the turret. As we've seen Korean teams, that's been their preference for this situation. And Coco doing really well in a difficult matchup, thanks to an early gank.
Ooh, Daydream up in that top lane, but he does get spotted right before Goong leaves that tri-brush. So ping's going down, and Goong will take this time to go back home. See if he can finish his chalice, or at least some parts thereof. But Goong actually moves on back forward into the lane. If he gets spotted, the gank is already prepared by Daydream and NaDlife. Goong is going to be in a lot of trouble.
This is really smart by CJ. They definitely want to keep him down. NaDlife doing what he can to roam, but he just doesn't have that crowd control yet. So it's not going to be the easiest gank to pull off. They lack hard CC.
And he's going to hit the Sonic Wave flash used by Goong, so he'll be safe, but Summoner finally taken from one of Daydream's ganks. And that's going to give Hojin some breathing room just to farm up and get strong, and he might be going for a dive here in the bottom lane. We are only at level 4. Nice pink ward timing by Flame. He knows that Daydream was just spotted up top. It's danger zone. It's been a while since anyone's seen that Evelynn, but that means this tower not really going to be protected that well. Nidalee coming down.
Well, the thing is, it's ridiculously hard to dive a Jax, because he'll counter-strike you and you'll get hit by a million turret hits and you can't auto him. So
it's true.
He is one of the better champions to prevent dives.
Very true.
Emperor already 6.
Getting caught once again, but doesn't get really slowed for that long by that Void Ooze. Emperor, meanwhile, using that Living Artillery to just poke at him. Now, meanwhile, bottom lane, they've gotten pushed back a little bit with the help from Coco to push that lane out. Save level 6 now, so we'll see what he can do.
So lane swap definitely going so far in CJ's favor. Not really too confident about their ability to take that Dragon. Flame playing very cautiously right now.
OQ spots Flame.
But looks like Lulu going to catch a lot of that farm on the turret. So Goong will be able to get some presence back in terms of levels, it would appear. And again, NaDlife not 6 yet, so really difficult to make a play.
Yeah, and Emperor's been doing a good job of just putting down some crucial poke now and then to keep Goong scared. Goong, that's actually forced him to miss some CS here and there, but in terms of actual CS numbers, Goong and Flame are pretty much even. For all intents and purposes, Flame just has a slight experience edge.
It's just massive, though, that Coco has been able to keep his lane pushed out. And again, NaJin, they missed an opportunity, I think, to dive this Nidalee early on just because of Goong's lack of the jungle follow. That may hurt them because Goong is back in this game. He does have the CS advantage, and they've been able to at least hold it on that turret.
Yep, Save coming back into the lane after doing some dirty farming. Blocks that spear. I mean, it's still really anybody's game, of course. Not much has happened. And very tense from both sides. We see players usually a little bit overconfident, showing much caution in this best-of-1 tiebreaker between NaJin e-mFire and CJ. Kane takes a hit on that spear, really wanted to clear that pink board, but decides, all right, not worth it, let's just secure the dragon, and they should be able to.
Yep, they just have Flame freezing in the bottom lane, so CJ happy to give up that dragon as long as they can continue to deny this farm.
Indeed. And so dragon taken, but it's, you know, an early one. It's not the biggest of differences, but still starting to give a little bit of a gap in favor of NaJin. Goong finishes his Chalice, so that's some great news for him in terms of clearing waves.
The question, though, becomes what do you do with your Lulu at this point? Because you've got 2 frozen lanes. So where are you going to send her? Looks like Lulu and Lucian both going to go up to try and destroy this freeze that Emperor has created. But we do see CJ reading that. They've got 2 players in the topside jungle waiting for this to happen. It's really the only play they can make. Now look at what Coco moved. Coco started to move down just to make sure because they don't know where the play is coming in. So they wanted to be a little bit close to both sides, and now they're going to see Kane up there, and they're going to set up a counter gank.
All right, we do see Sona and Lee Sin ready. Sona's still not level 6 though, so no crescendo there, but Kane also doesn't have that tidal wave. OQ does have the culling, and Goong does have wild growth. Meanwhile, Coco and Save gonna run into each other. Save not gonna hit his first Steel Tempest, so he will back off. Hojin now joining up top, and Save blocks it with the wind wall.
And Frost, as we move into the mid-game, they're going to have to be really slippery because this wind wall shuts them down really, really hard in terms of their siege. And remember that they don't have the best initiation if Flash is down on Sona or if Daydream can't land a really good ward hop kick. So could get a bit rough if NaJin can just hold on long enough and make sure that Save is always in the lane that's getting sieged.
Save takes this time to just move on down to bottom lane, pick up this farm, make sure it's not wasted, and push it back out. Meanwhile, that gives OQ some time to farm up in mid. Still a very tense and equal game.
Just having the AD carry in mid right there now, OQ will be able to clear out any waves and probably just out wave clear the Nidalee at this point. So not a bad idea. We'll have to see how well this Yasuo is going to do in a lane against Jax. Jax, of course, already having the Cutlass. So it's been a while, actually, since this Yasuo save has gone back.
Yeah, we'll see what he's going to buy first. Goong just trying to hold on, and he's lost a lot of that CS because of some of that roaming and the frozen lanes earlier. And Yasuo still sticking down bot, so it looks like he's prepared to fight against this Jax. Does have a good experience advantage, though, and I think that's what he's counting on. Now, Jadium shows up. Save still picks up that Golem. He gets a little glimpse of Daydream, backs off, and Madlife was also behind. So good on him. OQ and Kane doing a good job of pressuring down this mid lane, but Coco hits a spear onto Kane, and now they have to back off as Madlife shows up at level 6. Nice split on that spear. Hojin showing up in that mid lane was not spotted. No pink wards in sight on that side of the map for CJ.
Yeah, this is turning out to be a very interesting game of pressure, and now Yasuo will go back and pick up that static shiv all in one go. So we will have a lot more pressure on the side lane, and this Kog'Maw is going to have to be very careful against this because he could get all in pretty easily. And that's what they're counting on right here.
Yeah, Hojin's there too, but Kog'Maw's already going back. So Hojin just going to back off. Meanwhile, Kane going to be helping Goong pick up this blue buff. And this is still kind of the focus for NaJin. It's not only what do you do with this Lulu at this point, but when can you do anything with Lulu at this point? It's taking her a lot of time to really catch up. Now 2 levels behind Jax.
Well, it's been a little bit of a give and take. Now they knew this could happen in the lane swap, but they're confident enough in the Yasuo pick to stall out the siege with the lack of initiation from CJ. So they knew this was a risk. They did get lane swapped on. They didn't play the lane swap as well as they could. And now it's all about save, and again, NaJin's ability to drag this game out into a point where Lulu can catch up and be useful.
Hojin just scaring people out, but Emperor is also here. It's a 4-man push in this mid lane for CJ. The wave just goes down, and Goong gets initiated by Flame. Goong has to use his shield, and then will he actually be able to clear this wave fast enough? Yes, he will be safe for now. OQ has to use the culling to protect that mid tower. But Goong's gonna get dove, and he doesn't really have an exit anymore. He's already been all closed in, all 5 members moving down to the bottom side of the map. This is surely going to be first blood. Goong does have wild growth, but how long can he last? He uses it to try to dodge the stun, but Flame saves his leap strike, jumps on, and gets first blood, and also a nice assist to both Madlife and Daydream.
That's right, but they only have this Kog'Maw here in the mid lane. He's going to try and clear it out, but probably going to be a tower going down. Save still split pushing up in the top lane, but they're going to go for a tier 2 here in bot.
All right, so just tower trades going left and right for both teams. CJ will be able to get this tier 2. Can save and get the tier 1, though, to at least equalize quantity of towers taken.
Nice dodge from Emperor in that Aqua Prison.
Yeah, Emperor's not going to be able to hold on here much longer, though, and Goong rushing down to that bottom lane. Madlife teleporting back. So they even out in terms of number of towers taken, but of course, the tier 2 taken for CJ in bottom lane, that's already just pressure set up for any top side of the map plays.
And they broke the freeze as well, so it's not going to be that easy for Goong to actually deal with that situation. NaJin trying to rotate over to Dragon as a response to the mass recalls, take another objective here and jump back into a gold lead.
Can they? Yeah, they should be able to take it just fine. Emperor Coco might be able to go for a steal, but nope, the spear hit. And tons of wards down. Hojin needs to watch out. Daydream actually gets the steal, and Hojin is caught with so little health. Has to flash out. Daydream showing Hojin how a steal is done tonight as he gets a gold lead for CJ.
Yeah, NaJin still has this big problem of this Lulu being so far down, and here's the siege save. It's on him to kind of stop this. There's the wind wall, just trying to protect the turret as much as possible. He's got Goong for the good wave clear. Now OQ there as well. It does seem like it will be OQ.
Oh, yeah, not if he takes that hit. But he does get healed back up a little bit by Kayn. But Kayn low on mana, and OQ takes that hit. He can lifesteal, and yeah, needs to watch out for those spears. And Hojin comes in for the flank. They actually get the wild growth onto Emperor. Can they get the kill onto Cullen? Goes down. A nice crescendo. Hojin still trying to chase through as Madlife is in half health. The knockup not happening for Save Steel Tempest. And Flame gets a nice split push during this time to take another tier 2 for CJ in the top lane.
Yeah, CJ, they played out the lane swap so well. They kept Goong down. Flame is now 3 levels up on Lulu and is becoming a split-pushing monster. The only one who may be able to stop him is Save, and even Save not going to have the easiest time. He's still waiting on that Blade of the Ruined King. Probably will be able to get it on his next back, but here's the problem. They need Save to stop the siege. Exactly. So they're really in a strategic bind right now.
And a nice attempt onto Emperor, but Save gets kicked back, and he was waiting for that last half second to try to leap onto Emperor, but a nice kick from Daydream denied that timing window.
And they couldn't keep following due to the spears on the flank from Coco either, so really good positioning from Coco, preventing further chasing. And yeah, this is a really hard situation for NaJin. Again, they have to stop Jack split pushing with Yasuo, but Flame has the teleport advantage. Yasuo doesn't have the most reliable teleport stop, and they need the wind wall. Goong, you do not need to be there.
He's still getting chased, and Daydream will follow up another kill for Flame. Things are starting to get a little bit out of hand for NaJin. Not only is it Flame, but it's a Jax with 2 kills.
Well, they don't have an answer to this strategy, unfortunately. They have to have that wind wall. It's the lane swap at the beginning that really messed up this situation, and it's interesting.
Yep, and NaJin just gonna have to give up that tier 1 in mid. So suddenly out of nowhere, another kill and 2 towers in favor of CJ. That gives him a little bit more of a gold lead, and tons of map pressure now with both side lanes cleared up.
Yeah, Flame really got rolling this game. Very well played by him, and good lane freezes from CJ. You can tell they made the right moves to go ahead and give up some early dragons and trade it for a different kind of advantage that has turned out to be much more meaningful for them.
All right, Coco just playing some ward wars with Kayn. Kayn wins out on that one. And now NaJin is just all grouped up. Coco picks up yet another blue, and so he's good to go for another 3 minutes here.
Yeah, he had to build the Seeker's Arm Guard first, so his power spike on the big spear damage has been slightly delayed. Wow, still catches save in the middle of a dash for quite a bit of damage, and Flame happily split pushing, putting pressure.
Yeah, no one there to stop him, no one willing to go to stop him, and as you mentioned, no one really can at this point. You know, even Yasuo is going to have trouble there. Has to use a wind wall.
But they're delaying the recalls right now. Just by pushing up, they're buying Flame a lot of time. And their Daydream getting a little crazy.
Yeah, but OQ does get tagged, doesn't get hit by the spear though. Goong was sent up to clear up this wave. There is that. I mean, Lulu can clear waves well, but can't fight Flame if he's there. Emperor, and now Flame here in the mid lane. CJ just playing this perfectly. Flame chasing OQ out with that counter-strike, but Hojin trying to rush him. There's a long-range tidal wave. Can it catch anyone? No, it just gets a long-range knock-up on Coco, and a brilliant crescendo by Madlife to stop the engage coming in from NaJin, and this is the disengage we talked about. Kane eats a spear. There's the Sonic Wave. We still have Dragon's Rage up for Daydream. He could go for a gutsy kick if everyone's grouped up like that on NaJin. They really need to watch out. Sonic Wave still tags because Save trying to block the spears from the side. Everyone grouped up. It's just fish in a barrel for Coco here as they take the tier 2 tower down. Flame preparing his counter-strike, but does get bubbled, so no initiation, but Save another spear down. And Coco telling Goong he wasn't the original Nidalee.
Yeah, this is a pretty dire situation for NaJin. And how are they going to respond to this? They probably can't anymore, is the answer. Goong still trying to farm his way into some relevance, but maybe, definitely, probably too late. Still 3 levels down, not able to answer this split push, nearing 100 CS behind as well. Flame hasn't even had to use his teleport this game because he's been able to move around just fine on his own to group up at the right times. So it's a constant threat that is hanging over the heads of NaJin. CJ now pushing back up. They can keep on rolling here. We'll see what their next decision is. They probably should just keep the split push pressure up as opposed to baiting Baron at the moment, just because that's not, their team isn't really a Baron team.
Right.
Even though they do have the Kog'Maw Jax, they'll be able to do it a little bit later, but they're all very squishy at the moment, so getting caught in the pit could be pretty darn bad for them, and really they just need to keep sieging, which has been what's so successful for them so far.
Yeah, they've been playing that really well, and forcing wind walls early from just spears from the side means that everyone else can comfortably keep sieging, and there's no wind wall to block the crescendo. Dragon being started by NaJin. NaJin really desperate for any of these objectives, but we do have all members of CJ here except for Flame, who has teleport. Hojin gets a little bit crazy, and they do get the Dragon. Tidal Wave used, but a nice split. Flame is already down here with teleport, and NaJin needs to disengage right now. Hojin dodges the Sonic Wave, and Oki just trying to chase people out with the culling. Hojin needs to run away, has been spotted, but can, maybe be able to get out. Gets a nice level. Coco with a nice flank, and Hojin will be sacrificed by NaJin. Wild Growth used. They might be investing too much to try to save that Evelynn, as Coco finishes that kill, and CJ now pressuring through. They know the Evelynn is not only gone, but Agony's Embrace is down. Wild Growth also not there.
Now, no blue buff for Nidalee right now, and she is getting relatively low on mana, so we'll have to see how well CJ can do this. They're still going in, though.
Yeah,
trying to get some hits onto the turret. Well, they have a 5v4.
Save was slowed down by the Voidoos and forced to take a spear, and Coco just trying to find angles right around that wind wall to put a couple more hits on that inhibitor turret, but CJ will back off. Enough pressure, they feel, as Hojin comes back up.
I actually don't think that was the best use of teleport from Flame. Even though they got a kill right there, they weren't able to transition it very well into anything else. And Flame's constant split pushing, they needed a little bit more poke down and also a better ward for Flame to teleport on, because it was relatively easy for NaJin to kite themselves out of that situation. And they didn't lose much, but they got the dragon. So all in all, definitely a net win for NaJin.
Absolutely, Machi. And again, Goong just, he's working towards that Void Staff, it seems, and he'll do some decent damage, but still just as squishy. And in that case, Flame is still going to win out on that fight. And
Coco finishing his Zhonya's, actually. That's not typically the normal build we would see on Nidalee. You'd go for a Death Cap after the Seeker's Arm Guard. So I think he's just worried about the Yasuo. And if the Yasuo can get into the backlines onto Nidalee with the Tidal Wave, at least he'll be able to Zhonya's out of it while Jax kills Yasuo.
Yeah, I think that's a fair item assessment from Coco there. And also because we don't see that much health nor MR. In fact, almost none on the side of NaJin, so his spear is still doing decent damage.
So Question is, what does CJ do right now? It's probably a bit too early for them to seriously consider sieging. Flame's teleport is now down, so it's much harder for them to split push, especially given the long-range engage and the constant threat of an Evelyn flank from the side without having the teleport to turn it around. They could get all in 4v5. So they'd have to stick a little bit closer together. Just trying to take some vision control over the Baron right now, even though it's not realistic that they're going to be able to do it unless NaJin makes a pretty big error.
Now, teleport's still about halfway through on its cooldown, but Flame is going to decide that there's a big wave forming down in bottom lane, so I'm going to go ahead, prepare myself by taking those double golems, and then go on to now split push this bottom lane.
Yeah, Flame is just so far ahead. 2,100 gold.
Yes.
In terms of money, and then not counting that level edge that he has as well. So just continuing to farm up, going full split push with that Trinity Force as his next item.
Now that means that the teleport is down, but Save takes a spear as he's trying to clear that pink ward, and that's going to force NaJin to back off. NaJin is prepared from the side, though. They could get a nice sandwich.
This is where that teleport being down could be very dangerous.
Save is healed up, but everyone on CJ splitting and disengaging. Pings down for Flame on that bottom lane. And Save is trying to push up as fast as possible. They have that timer on that teleport, but NaJin takes another hit. Good heal coming in from Kane, but yeah, NaJin's just going to back off. They're too pressured by Flame's split push.
Well, they couldn't find the angle that they needed, and CJ played it out very nicely, just disengaging and playing the poke game and not giving them that opening to get a big engage. Now they're going to try and bait the Baron here. Bit risky, but Flame already moving back over towards it. Oh, they're going to do it. This is...
Oh, Kane sneaks in a ward.
Yeah, they can't do this.
Yeah, they're just going to back off. We do see 3 members here in the mid lane. Goon can Whimsy up here. So, now everyone's still pretty scared of Flame, though, and for good reason. Level 15 now, while OQ and NaJin only 12 and 11 respectively. And Save, of course, is level 14 himself, but I think Jax is looking a little bit scarier right now in terms of just small skirmishes. And Save trying to get a pick onto Emperor, but probably thankful that didn't connect. Daydream and Mad Life both there.
Yeah, this is another situation where NaJin is going to have to turtle this out for a long, long time. And they may be able to do it. And if they can get back into that late game scenario, they do have a really solid team fighting comp for the late game. But they're really far away from being useful at the moment.
All right, so Save now has that PF sword. Hasn't finished boots yet, neither has Goon. Meanwhile, we do see Tabbies on the side of CJ.
Yeah, I think that's smart. Of course, you do have double AD and Lulu, who's very far behind, so the magic damage threat not really there. Goon not even completing his second core item yet compared to Coco. Coco also going to go back, pick himself up a nice blasting wand. And Flame going to clear and start baiting that Baron some more. They don't have good wards behind the pit, however, so...
Flame just calling out some orders to his team, as he often does with Blaze. Of course, this is a mixed roster. Has Mad Life to back him up on some of those things. And Daydream also a pretty aggressive guy, so has been working out okay with Coco. And Dragon is up. NaJin. Dragon's really been all they can take, and so they're really concerned with it. Save trying to distract them from the side. Dragon is still like half leashed by NaJin. Kane takes a spear though. That may be the sign to disengage. While Save gets chased down by Daydream. Save may try to turn this into a 1v1 though, where Daydream would be a little bit scared. So NaJin's still trying to take this Dragon. Kane is healed back up with his own skills. NaJin needs to win the Smite Ward really hard here. Dragon is, oh wow, NaJin takes another spear and Daydream wins the Smite Ward. There is the tidal wave and last breath coming in. Save eliminates Mad Life right away, but he gets deleted by Coco, and now it is just a massacre as CJ chases through. OQ trying to push people back with the culling, but we're gonna see Emperor melt people one by one as he backs out. Nice flash by Goong to escape that counter-strike, but OQ takes another spear, and he can't really fight this 3v1. Coco just gonna chase him through in Cougar form. Daydream actually gonna connect and hit him with that resonating strike.
Yeah, and that was just a poke from CJ coming down early, and also the setup couldn't have been more perfect. If you notice the way they set that up, they had Lee Sin and Flame Jax on the flanks so that they couldn't get in, and then just coming in right here, that allowed them enough time to get the poke down. And yes, Mad Life got jumped on by Save, blown up nearly instantly. But again, this Jax is just too damn powerful right now, and Emperor just Emperor just moving forward while OQ kites through with his ultimate, and he does actually end up dying here to some Ignite ticks. But it's still too much. Coco able to clean up in that Cougar form as Nidalee with the help of Daydream, who gets a nice Sonic Wave resonating strike. Really good.
So CJ, now 7,000 gold lead, and that's pretty noticeable at this point. 2-0-4 for both Flame and Daydream. I'm sure they're feeling just fine.
Yeah, it's still a dire situation, and that is that big gold lead that's opened up, and that's that massive difference between Flame and Goong. They should be in a very confident position. They need to keep on sieging, keep on poking as best they can. Good vision control over the Baron pit right now from NaJin, as CJ tries to creep in with a few more tentative wards in the river.
Yep, and OQ also just hasn't had the opportunities he's had in previous games to really open up onto the enemy team. It's been kind of rough. Deathcap is finally finished for Goong, so he has some more damage. Kog'Maw looking to finish that Infinity's Edge. Already has a static Shiv.
Now they're going to lose control over the Baron right now too. CJ doing a good job of sweeping through. Nidalee will go back, pick up a needlessly large rod and another pink ward just to ensure some better coverage, but they have to be careful they don't just lose all the wards they put up. They warded and then everybody mass recalled, so they lost a lot of pressure around the Baron, but it's still making NaJin a bit nervous just because of the poke that can come over walls.
And no pink wards yet in store for NaJin as Flame begins to split push once again, has teleport up. Who can dare to go stop this Jax, who also has a Giant's Belt on top of his
and can probably dive the Lulu.
Probably. Yeah, Oki just using the culling to chase people out, but doesn't really get many hits. It's just kind of a scare tactic against Emperor. Probably just going to laugh it off as Emperor shows back up to join his teammates. Save alone in top lane, decides to back off. They saw some movement towards the top side of the map. And then Flame now backing off from that split push. Notices Goong is there. Trying to decide what is the best course of action for him. Is it just to pressure Goong? We see pings from both teams.
Daydream may be strong enough to tank the Baron right now. They're going to two-man it.
All right, Emperor and Daydream. Yeah, Daydream pretty tanky. Has that finished Randuin's on top of another cloth armor. Save chasing through, though. He smells something's fishy. Save gets slowed and gets hit. And then Crescendo comes in. There's the Mikhail's into a wind wall, though. Excellent tidal wave from Kane to block that engage. But Daydream catches up and will safeguard back out. They decide they don't want to chase through. There was too much distance for Flame to follow up on that initiation.
Well, they also know they could just do Baron right now because they chunked Save so hard that they're just going to go ahead and clear and try for round two. Save, he's going to try and heal up off of Wraiths, but it's probably going to be too late.
Yeah, Hojin trying to see if he can go for a steal, but he's been spotted. Goong takes the spear and is down to 25% health. Baron, yeah, Daydream keeping that Baron leashed, and Hojin not going to be able to go for a steal. They're going to get the Baron buff right about now. Hojin still trying to force them to disengage. It's actually taking a little while. No damage dealers there, and Save is back at full health. Hojin keeping them distracted long enough to force a disengage from Baron.
Oh, they're going to keep trying, though. Baron's healing up. He'll be back down to about 50% HP.
Hey, I've seen this. I've seen this somewhere before. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in 20 minutes.
At the European LCS?
Yes, indeed. Oh, man. If you had a fantasy Champions League, NaJin White Shield would definitely be the team you want. Man, the value.
Drags games out forever.
Gets all the dragons.
All the Barons.
Brilliant team. Now, NaJin, that was impressive, though, by Hojin to really not take damage and just scare them enough because of course CJ, they probably could have taken the Baron, but it's a very delicate game right now, so they don't want to get too cocky. But NaJin sees Flame walking towards that Baron buff again. Goong's going to come up and put a ward down. No, he's going to just put the Glitter Lance, doesn't hit anyone. And that Baron is below half health. NaJin has been spotted. I think CJ's going to take it this time around. They snuck it in while NaJin also went home. And NaJin tries to jump in with Agony's Embrace, just drags them away. There's the tidal wave, and Goong is the one who dies. NaJin, wow, dares to go back in with Hate Spike at that health, but Save gets caught in the back. And there's the Counter-Strike follow-up from Flame. CJ picks off Goong and Save. Will they go back to that Baron buff? Looks like they will, because Flame and Coco at very good health. Of course, they have 2 heals coming in. And there's a huge wave up in top lane. Many wards put down, but NaJin, I don't know if you can dare go for the steal. And even if you do, what does it mean for your team if OQ gets caught and nearly dies? Daydream will flash out, but CJ, that will secure them the Baron buff here at 35 minutes. 10K gold lead, and this game is slipping out of NaJin's hands.
Yeah, they actually aren't going to lose that top lane tower, but what do you do against Flame right now? He is an absolute monster, and what a great game he's playing too. He's actually pressuring and grouping beautifully this time around. Problem that he had in that 3rd place match in Champions, but playing it much better this time around, and they're going to take a Dragon as well and just further increase that gold lead. Randuin's now completed also, and against the 2 ADs, AD champions on NaJin, it is a little bit dire.
All right, let's look at this again. This was, of course, the 2nd time around where NaJin tried to go in with Agony's Embrace for a steal, but actually dodges the Crescendo, which is the only reason why NaJin lives with about 1 health, as you see right now.
Yeah, Save, I think, chose the wrong target. He only got Coco with his ult, who actually has armor due to the Zhonya's Hourglass, and Flame just with beautiful mechanics following that one up and chasing through with the Flash Leap Strike and Counter-Strike.
So Flame's health bar has turned into 1 big bar, and no one's going to be able to touch that.
He's like the MC Hammer of this game.
That's true. Can't touch this. So, NaJin, I mean, we've been saying, or you've been saying rather, that they really don't have an answer, but at this point, I think it's clear to anyone, especially, I mean, the gold lead has gotten out of control, the tower lead, the kills, everything, the pressure, and the Baron buff.
Well, they knew it was a risk going in, and this is the, when they picked the Lulu, it was kind of high risk, high reward. If they got that 1v1, or if they didn't fall so far behind with the lane swap, they really did have a good composition for stopping the siege and for winning that mid lane. But I don't think they played out the first few minutes of this game.
Okay. OQ has to go back. And look at this poke, both the Living Artillery and the Spears. A nice angle by Coco to move around, and we do see Flame jumping in. They get the stun onto Save. Save has to run away, despite getting Wild Growth on himself. Cannot follow up with that last breath, and Oki just trying to push people back with culling, but it barely hurts against both Daydream and Flame, who have that Randuin's and a quick inhibitor by the CJ Master roster.
Yeah, I love how they play this out too. Just go ahead and back off after that. Start pushing some other waves. You got the inhibitor. You got the advantage you need. Play it slowly. Just go through. CJ, they're in absolute control of this game. And they just need to be patient. And they already have healed back up thanks to the Baron buff. Thanks to Sona and Nidalee too with that sustain.
Yes.
And that's the thing about Jax too, is if Nidalee heals him and he gets that attack speed buff, oh my god.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal as we see Daydream and Flame jumping in once again, and they just delete Save from the game. And with that Yasuo gone, the wind wall is no longer there. Daydream being focused by Oki. Oki does pick up that kill. CJ decides to take a little bit of a breath there as their teammate dies, but CJ will continue to push back in, takes the inhibitor, and then once again, like you said, Monty, just beautiful systematic pushing as they back off. Don't want to take any risk, even with that wind wall gone.
Right, you got the 2 inhibitors down. You can go ahead, sweep through the jungle, take what you can, and push up the top lane at the same time. Flame there, just running a little bit of interference as Emperor takes out the double golems. And this next Baron, well, they made a lot out of that Baron buff. And with these inhibitors down, next Baron, as long as they can keep him down, will be quite easy for them to take Flame. It's like he's going to go do white. Needs some more farm right there.
Of course. Some things never change. Flame.
So GA should be up next for Flame, and at that point, what do you do? There's nothing you can do.
Not really. Oh, yeah, there we go. GA bot. Save. Just not able to do much for his team.
Well, Save has a lot of items. If he can actually get onto somebody, he will be incredibly effective, but that's just not easily done right now. Mad Life also going to go ahead and look at that. He's building the Shroud, which of course is great on Sona, and eventually will turn into that Frozen Heart, but that's just to make sure that he doesn't get one shot by Yasuo again.
Exactly. And yeah, so the only real target now is Kog'Maw, but Emperor's been very good about not being in a position to get caught. While Spears flying in.
With Mad Life having the Talisman as well, as soon as he sees that tidal wave coming out, he can Talisman and they can split around it so the knockup doesn't hit the Kog'Maw, meaning no last breath.
And here we go, Flame pressuring the mid lane as we see Spears pressuring this top lane. Coco does not have a blue buff, but he still has some decent mana. Glitter lands onto Emperor. We do see Hate Spice trying to get some clear, and yeah, once again, oh, Save takes a spear, and he's gonna have to go home and heal up. CJ taking this small window to take that tower out, and Flame comes in from the flank. Kane has to flash backwards. Hojin has to use Agony's Embrace and his flash to run away. There's a nice tidal wave onto 4 people, but Save not able to jump in with the last breath. 2 members wiped out from NaJin, and CJ is diving all the towers to go ahead and secure this win with Coco sniping out Kane. Goong, the only member left, and ladies and gentlemen, in a turn of events, CJ Entus will power through to meet Samsung in the semi-playoffs in Masters 2014.
And what a great game from Flame as well. He really played that nicely. The lane swap going in CJ's favor, and they're able to snowball that very effectively into a win. Of course,